team, and welcome to Talk TV with Tiffany. I'm your host, Tiffany. When I'm not watching TV, I'm talking about it. And today I'm talking about last night's epic episode of Timeless called Karma Chameleon. And oh my god, did so much go down! Oof! From the very, very beginning, I was just goosebumps and on edge throughout the entire intense episode. So, as the last episode ended, Wyatt asked Rufus if he'd help him steal the time ship and go back in time to save his wife's life. So Wyatt's plan is that he's gonna prevent the killer's parents from ever having the one-night stand they had, which resulted in his birth. So if the killer's never born, then the two women that he killed before Jessica won't die, and hopefully Jessica will be alive too. So Wyatt, late at night, knocks on Lucy's door and tells her his big plan, but again, super, super sweet moment. Go Wyatt. He tells her that he does not want her to get involved. He doesn't want her to go on this trip because she needs to preserve her deal with Agent Christopher, the deal to find Amy, and he doesn't want anything to jeopardize that, which is so nice. So you can see how torn Lucy is too, and we're feeling what she's feeling, and even Wyatt a little bit. It's like, yeah, okay, we know Wyatt loves his wife, who wants to save Jessica, and that's admirable and charming and sweet. But at the same time, God, Lucy and Wyatt are so cute together. And it was so funny because just the other day, I'm like, even just the way he teased her with, ma'am, and then he says thank you, ma'am, to her, and it was just like mush. Like, oh, do you really have to go back and try and save your wife? Can't you just let it be? Just be with Lucy, please. So I know it's bad because technically he should want to save his wife the way Lucy wants to, bring her sister back. But you can't help it, right? So he goes back, and it's really cool how he tries to make it look like that Malcolm is that Rufus is his hostage and is doing this under duress, as if anyone who knows them is going to buy that. But it's still sweet. He's trying to keep Rufus an innocent party. Meanwhile, poor Gia is upset and hurt that Rufus doesn't care about her enough to reveal this kind of secret plan to her. And she tells Lucy, if someone cares about you and loves you, they would, tell you something like this instead of leaving you in the dark. And Lucy thought maybe, Rufus is just trying to protect her. But then again, Wyatt told Lucy, so, does Wyatt love Lucy? Or she thinks it's just because he needed her to call Agent Christopher after the fact. But I think there's a little more to it than that, than just logistics. He trusts her. He cares about her, as we've seen. So while Wyatt and Rufus are in the past, we get a lot of fun, cheesy 80s throwback stuff. Miss Pac-Man and the Miami Vice outfits and members-only jackets and all the goofiness, but it is kind of weird because we see Wyatt trying to seduce the mother of the man who killed his wife. He's flirting with her just to keep her away from the bartender that she's gonna hook up with, and poor Rufus is just like, you promise not to hurt anybody, just don't hurt anybody. And after a painful long night of ball blocking, he ends up accidentally causing the murderer's father to die. I mean, it was an accident. He didn't mean to. Maybe Wyatt went a little too far. If circumstances got out of line and out of hand, and he did some things he's not proud of, and he even admits it to Rufus that Jessica would not have wanted him to do any of this and behave this way. But it's not like he meant to kill the guy. So, and Wyatt's gonna feel bad about that because it's not like the parents were bad guys. It's just their son ended up being a murderer for, who knows why. So he goes through all of that, and, he hates it, but the only solace he has in doing all of that is that he'll be able to see Jessica when he comes home. And the first thing he asks when he comes back is, as they're trying to drag him away, he wants to know if Jessica's back, and Lucy says, no, she's not back. So he saved the two lives of the other women that were murdered, but, this killer lied. He lied, and either Flynn's information was wrong or he was misleading Wyatt. But I don't see why Flynn would do that because he is still trying to gain their trust and wants their help to stop Rittenhouse. So I can't see him lying to the time team. I think so then the question is who killed Jessica? And one theory is that it's Rittenhouse, because who else? Why else? Especially it seems like Rittenhouse has everything planned out, so maybe they knew that they needed Wyatt specifically, and that killing Jessica would be some kind of incentive in the future if, you know, they've gone through the past and played scenarios out enough. Because while Rufus and Wyatt were in the past, we saw we learned some things about Rittenhouse and how they have this really, really creepy, skeevy plan. And I mean, I don't know, it almost sounds borderline like there's only a certain kind of people who are in Rittenhouse who are supposed to, you know, prevail in society and across the world, and they want to, you know, prevent events from happening, prevent these huge, important historical figures from ever, you know, gaining any power and momentum, like Martin Luther King and JFK and stuff. So it's really, really shady and creepy, and almost feels a little kind of like Nazi-ish. I don't know if that's, you know, wrong to say, but it's giving me really bad, like, heebie-jeebie vibes, because just the entitlement they feel that, like, they have the right to choose who's going to live, who's going to die, the way life is supposed to be, some pure, pristine ideal that they want to live out. Who says your ideal is what the other people want, you know? That's so Anthony finally takes a stand, and since Rufus isn't around, he talks to Lucy and tells Lucy that he's going to blow up the mothership and that she should blow up the lifeboat once Rufus comes back, because if without the ships, Rittenhouse can't execute their plan. But of course Flynn still wants the ship, wants to eradicate Rittenhouse altogether instead of letting them exist, having his family die for nothing, and then just waiting a few years for another, you know, mothership and lifeboat to be built. But in the end, we find out that Flynn stops Anthony from blowing up the boat, the mothership, and so Rufus is sad that Anthony was lost, but at least he was still trying to fight for what was right. You know, he died he died with honor, I guess. But now Flynn and Emma are off, and Emma knows all this stuff about Rittenhouse. How much does she know? I mean, she disagrees with it, but how much can Flynn and Emma do? Where did they go? What are they going to do next? How can they stop Rittenhouse? And then it's become too much. Agent Christopher and Lucy have a heart-to-heart about it. Both of them are on the same page. And, you know, even Agent Christopher's on board for Lucy to save Amy before destroying the lifeboat. But if that's what, you know, what needs to happen, Connor Mason can't be trusted because he's in Rittenhouse's pocket. So she knows that Connor Mason's been meeting with some shady people, shows the photo to Lucy. Lucy sees it's her dad. Now she knows her dad's part of Rittenhouse. Episode ends with her confronting her dad, and he says that it's in her, it's part of her. Rittenhouse is in her blood. Creepy. Ew. No. Lucy doesn't want any part of it, isn't having it, but they leave us off mid-conversation, mid-revelation of whatever he's going to tell her, all the scoop we're going to get on Rittenhouse, what their big master plan is, and, you know, what role Lucy's supposed to play in it. From the preview for the next episode, we see they go back to the Roaring Twenties, and Lucy, you know, is hell-bent on stopping Rittenhouse, you know, either way. She is not on her father's side and doesn't understand him at all, and is disgusted by all of this. So I'm very curious to see what happens next. I think it was very gutsy of Lucy to confront her father like that too. I don't know if she should have even told Agent Christopher about that, you know, just to have some backup. But I'm really creeped out. Rittenhouse is scaring me more and more each episode. But it was a very moving, wonderfully acted, you know, very, very gripping episode from start to finish. It was so well done. This show just keeps getting better and better, which is why we really need to work hard to renew Timeless. So just keep following me on Twitter and check back on my Renew Timeless campaign article for updates, and I'll keep adding things. But sign the petition, keep tweeting, keep live watching, keep spreading the word, and thank the advertisers, and email NBC. Just keep telling them how much you love this show, and hopefully we'll see another huge increase in delayed views too, because we were trending on Twitter last night, and I have a feeling that there'll be an increase again. Last week we got 2.4 million. Let's see how much more we can get this week. So so let me know what you thought about this episode. Oh my god, were you as moved as I was? Were you on the edge of your seat the whole time? Is your heart just breaking for Wyatt? Oh god, Matt Latner did such a good job this episode. You could just see it in his eyes. He was in such pain this entire episode. It was so good. And this cast is wonderful. They all work so well together. And this story is really great. So let me know what you thought. What were your favorite moments? What do you think will happen next? What do you think Rittenhouse's major plan is? And we'll talk again soon. So until next time, happy watching.